Alrighty, guys, happy Friday. It's been one of those weeks that we just got to drag through. It has been one of those tough ones. But, guys, I do want to speak about volatility coming in the next couple of hours. We've got the unemployment rates numbers coming out. That should bring some volatility. And, again, my buy zone for Bitcoin has actually been hit. The one I was speaking about, where I think we dropped slightly lower and we hit this green zone. I think we got a nice little bounce zone. We could be seeing some gains from here. We could see a nice push up to 60,000. So I want to make sure that we are prepared, because you never know when you're in this market. And we've been searching, right? We search for tweets for the show. We search for everything, and negative. Like, the market's at a sentiment of negativity, which means we pay attention, right? This is whenever we see this negativity around the entire market, it's always been a reversal stage. Right. And what we've got to pay attention to now is this: every entry, every time we are fighting for these zones can be the one. And I think that's the big one. Now, again, we're at this point where, yes, being patient is super hard, but we're at the point of seeing a bounce. And you never know, it might be the bounce that after this breaks trends and gets us back to 70K. And that's how we're going to keep going on it. I know, again, I pumped the motivation yesterday and I'm pumping it again today. I know it's been stressful. Like, look at Matt. This guy's at the bar. He's at the bar now. You can see he's busy drinking here at the bar on a Friday morning. So we get it. We feel it. Okay. So, guys, let's have a great show. Let's prepare for the weekend. Let's prepare for the weekly closes. Let's see where we close out. We know the weekly stocks at the bottom. We know all RSIs are reset. Let's pay attention to what we want to see for a reversal, and a nice fat green candle next week would be amazing. And what I also have here is I've got Seth the Man coming on, giving you guys pivots, giving you guys what 𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗔𝗪 is seeing on the charts. And let's look at, again, one thing that I want to pay attention to on this bounce is which altcoins are also very strong. Very, very big ones. So I want to give you guys a couple of clues on that as well to get us all going. So, no more wasting time. Happy Friday to you all. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like 𝗧𝗧𝗏𝗏. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to Crypto Banter and welcome to the 𝗧𝗏𝗏 Show. If you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and like it up. Guys, again, this market may break us down, but us as a community, specifically us here within these shows here, we ain't gonna quit. We just gotta be here day by day. And I said this yesterday, all you have to do, just show up every day. Show up every day, try to do 10, 20 minutes of improving yourself. Try learn something new in the crypto space. You don't have to spend all your time in crypto right now. It's very demotivating. It's a place where it's like, it drives you crazy. But just stay consistent. Stay consistent, show up every day, and try improve a little bit every day. And by doing that, I promise you it's going to play a massive role when the money comes back. And you're going to keep it. And you're going to, you're going to be a way better you. And I think that's one thing you're going to appreciate when you do become financially free from crypto, is you're also going to be a better person. You're going to be way more knowledgeable. You're going to know how you made the money. You're going to know how to protect the money, and you're going to be able to repeat this for the next many years, as however long it takes for Bitcoin to get to $10 million, right? That's how long you're going to be using these skills for. Because, again, when we look at real numbers, when it comes to crypto, we look at real numbers with Bitcoin and all these sort of things. Bitcoin can get to a $10-20 trillion asset, and it could get way more than that. And if you start looking at where we are now, where Bitcoin's sitting around a trillion, there is a massive wave that can come over the next, couple of years. And that's what we've got to think about. I sit here every day and we zoom in and we look at how to make money day by day. We look how to make money week by week. But again, you got to remember where the hell crypto's at and where we at when it comes to the next 10, 20 years. We're having a financial change, guys. We have everything shifting, and we also have a lot of truth revealing itself. So understand, I actually showed it yesterday. There's so much going on in the world. It kind of makes sense why the markets are tough. Guys, truth is being exposed everywhere. I've now traveled the world, right, this year, and every country is struggling. Every person in different countries, from the US, from the thing, like, these are all amazing places, but people are just something needs to change. Okay, and we can see that a lot of things are exposing themselves as well. So I want to remind you again, that bigger picture, there is so much to happen within the space and so much growth. The difficulty is actually being there and surviving it for when the beauty comes. Right? If you get wiped out this market, the market again the bull market will come at some point, and you're not going to be a part of it, and then you're going to try to be a part of it, and then it's like you have to just keep staying in the game, which means when the market gets demotivating, don't put all of your energy into it, but just do that little bit day by day, step by step. Put 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Watch 1 or 2 shows. Don't watch too much content either. Stick to what you want to pay attention to and just stay in the game. Okay, that's the main thing. So good morning to you all. How are we all doing? I want to see the chats over here. Changes in the air. Of course it is. And on the high time frame, it's in the hair too. I got some dry powder to deploy. Bro, you got dry powder? Better, you got dry powder? You got dry powder, bro. Woo! Nice, bro. You got dry powder. You can buy up a bit. That's great. That's great. Feel the 𝗲𝗡𝗏 fantastic. We know the prince is turning on. We know. At some point, Muhammad Ali. We know the princes are coming at some points. Just don't crash under 54 today. So I want to quickly speak about this before I jump into the charts. If there's no liquidity, now price will come down, guys. But it's to go get liquidity to bounce again, to go up again. So if there is not right now, there's many signs that we should bounce here. Market goes up. The only reason it would go down, in my opinion, is to get more liquidity, and it would actually probably get us to go up sooner. If there is not enough power right now. So we got unemployment rates, numbers coming through. That could spark the market up. That could start giving us some volatility. The market is kind of ready. I was looking at a couple things here. The market on the short time frame, a couple RSIs are resets. We go look here. 12 hours getting down to the bottom again now. We've got the 8 hour down at the bottom. Let's go have a look at the 1 hours at the bottom, the 4 hours at the bottom, the 8 hours at the bottom. Let's quickly look at and the dailies at the bottom too. The market's definitely getting ready for some buying power, definitely getting down. The only thing is now is we've got to understand that every time we do get to oversold areas is usually when the fast move happens. So yes, I expect over this weekend that a strong bounce can income. And I also expect that the fast shakeout can happen too. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say is the big move's going to happen pretty soon. We're either gonna, because if you look at the last few times here on Bitcoin, you could see that the moment we got to the bottom, you see the RSI was at the bottom, was when the dump actually happened, where we went from 57 all the way down to 49,000. So it always happens at the end. So that just shows you that today is going to be an area of, if there is not enough buying power right now, it will probably send down or go get some more liquidity. And then we got to pay attention to the main areas. So we're going to go through a lot of those, but just understand that the fast move, if we had to dump fast today, it's actually a really good thing, guys. It actually gives us an opportunity to reverse and to bounce hard, because every time we've had the fast dumps, and I just want to show you a couple of examples here. There was the fast wick. It ended up in a strong bounce. There was the fast wick, strong bounce. So when the speed up happens, it's not a bad thing. Okay, it means the market bounce. You just got to survive that temporary little pullback if that basically happens. But then we also on the other side, where the market is ready from these areas here. And if we get a higher low, I don't know if you see this on the Bitcoin charts, it will be the first higher low that we've seen for a while, which will give us a really good indication that we can start changing trends again. We can put in our first next higher high. You could see here, lower high, lower high, lower high. You could see the lows, lower low, lower low, lower low. If we get the first higher low, and we start to bounce anywhere in these regions, and that means anywhere above this 49, right? Anywhere in these zones here, we are looking for the next move to be the first higher high. And we have not seen that since we have entered this range all the way back in March. So this could set us up. And I spoke to you guys about this yesterday, that we are very close near the end, that the October, November, December should be a banging one for us. And if I know this market very well, to what I've seen it before, it usually catches up a lot faster than what we think. These stages over here were very tough when the market just ranged over here, but how quickly it literally rallied from 27,000 back to 45 was insane. So the market tends to go through these rough patches, but it also rewards and tends to catch up very quickly. And we can see every time we've gotten through this patch, market accelerated very quickly after that. So even though all of the damage, and you know what, it's actually tough, because it's like they demotivate you for like 8 months, okay, but in 2 months it can all be gone and it can all be back. And that's the crazy thing. So as much as that's why you'll always learn within crypto, your hard work is worth it, because it takes months and months and months of hard work, but they repay you very quickly. And I was actually having a chat with Mama Sniper yesterday, my mom, right? And because we were saying, like, it's been a hard year. We've been opening up businesses, we've been running things, and it's like the market hasn't given us much, in that sort of way. But she was also just saying, like, my boy, all I want to do is just keep getting what I can in this portfolio. I know this market. I remember this market. I remember that right now, you are spoiled for choice when it comes to entry. Okay, you know what's the hardest point? When the market doesn't pull back, guys. The moment that this market wakes up and it starts to rally again, it does not pull back. And I remember the stage. Look at this, guys. When Bitcoin went from this 20,000s all the way to 70, did we pull back much? We had a small pullback over here, but the market didn't pull back. So right now, you're so spoiled for choice when it comes to entering in the market, but you're not making much money now. The reverse happens when the market wakes up. you now are not spoiled for choice to get entries anymore. Okay, so anything that you didn't get in or anything that you now can't buy anymore because the market just goes and goes and goes and goes. And that's when a whole bunch of people rally back in and they just keep buying into that, the let's get rich overnight and, gets everyone pumped and all of these sort of things. So I know it may sound crazy that it's been tough, but we should actually really be looking at this like, us being able to be here still in this phase right now is a big blessing, because when the market goes, it gets really tough. So just know that when the market goes, it's not going to take us 3 months to get back up to 80,000, guys. It will probably take us 3 weeks to get back up to 80,000. That's the difference, is how fast it wakes up and it just goes like this. It pops so fast and it makes everything back and more very, very, very quickly. So yeah, Sheldon, of course I got your back, but I also just want you guys to be prepared for it, that don't take this too much for granted, because these phases are the hardest to get through, but it is the phase where you can actually get something in the market and be profitable, versus those who are not going to get the chance to get into the markets. They're not going to be able to get the specials. They're not going to be able to do these things. They're actually going to get late buys, and then the market will do these wicks and flush them out. So it's about to get really, I wouldn't say ugly. I don't want to meet it in a thing, but for those who are going to come into the market in the next few months, it's going to get very tough and ugly for them. It's going to get really hard for them to actually make it in crypto, because they'll make it in the short term. And, this may be the super cycle. We don't know. Guys, every entry we're fighting for here, my idea is I think we get to around 150K Bitcoin, my personal opinion. And then I think we chill for a bit. And then I think the next cycle we can go to possibly to the 300, 400, 500. And maybe over the next 10 years, we're over a mil, right? That's my kind of view at the moment. But we also don't know that now that we have a bit of institutional money and we have these things, we could go to 500K from here. We don't know. This could be the super cycle, and you have to think and be prepared for that. And that's why you're fighting for all these entries and all those things. And I want to remind you again, if we do go anywhere near a $200,000 Bitcoin, right, you're bringing around $3 trillion into the market. Guys, when that gets diversified into altcoins that are only $100 million market cap and $500 million market cap and 1 billion and these sort of ones, when trillions gets injected into the market, what happens to these alts? And these are your Solanas, and these things are under 10 billion. Like, what happens to these tokens when that money gets diversified? So when you're looking at the Bitcoin price and you're looking at where we're gonna get, right? We get to it. You got to understand the quantity of money that comes into the market, and that's why you'll see the difference that Bitcoin is sitting on. I don't even know the market cap of Bitcoin in the world. I think it's 1 point something trillion. But you look at altcoins, and they're not even above 10 billion. Right? And you start to understand that there is still a shit ton of growth to come. There is still so much to come within that. The only difference is we've got 10,000 tokens. Which ones? So never be afraid, and never just come into this market just think that memes and small coins is what's going to make you rich. Guys, a lot of these coins are going to be worth a lot, especially your top 20, your top these ones that are actually building. There's a lot of money to be made there. And when the market goes up again, don't get sucked into what make everyone rich. Don't get sucked into that. You're getting a lot of good quality now at really good prices, and that overall is going to make you great money over time, because you're buying legit, real shit stuff that's really going to help the world, right, and help this whole game of crypto. So just remember that very much. So many on 618, correct? Okay, so let's get a view here and let's get going. So right now, as it stands, guys, we should actually have a bounce from here. My buy zone has been hit. We shouldn't go much lower than where we are right now, unless we are going down to the lower range. Okay, so it's pretty easy right now for many trades to enter now and put your stop loss below, because we've hit the 618 now. Now, again, what is the 618? The 618 is basically indicating that we had the big dump off. There was the big dump. Now we bounced up. And what we're looking for now is if we hold a certain Fibonacci here, a certain area, it's indicating a higher low for the first time, which means we should chase a higher high after that and recover with a dump that we saw a couple of weeks back. That's what we're looking for. So why it's so, I wouldn't say difficult at the moment, is because dominance is still, it's been a little bit up. It's showing weakness now. You can definitely see the alts are looking strong to the upside, but this has been very choppy. Okay, and it's been taking some time, and that's where it gets tough. It's a time capitulation. That's what Craig's been speaking about. We don't mind dumps, we don't mind pumps. So when the market does nothing, that's the hardest point to stay invested and stay focused within the markets. So they've taken some time down. But however, if we hold a certain level here, guys, we are fighting for this. This is why we are interested here, why we're paying attention, because we will be those. We know automatically when Bitcoin's back at 70,000, all the interest is back. I guarantee you my views on my shows have doubled. I guarantee you everything is doubled again. That's what we are fighting for. We're fighting to get in before the rest of the markets. So this is what we're looking for over here. And I'll remind you again, if you want to match what you are seeing on my charts, I want you to take your Fibonacci from the bottom. You can go to the daily charts. From the bottom, that 49,000 that we were at, to the recent highs, and you just put in a Fibonacci. And what you can do is you can click on the tool, and you can just remove all, because you will see all of your different colors, and you can just put in the 0.618, 0.786. And what that means, it means it's a healthy bounce. It means it's actually, we are still bullish, and it's actually known as the golden zone of the best time to buy an investment, okay? Because it's basically telling you are buying around 60% from the highs that it made. So you're buying it 60% cheaper than what it did in the last push to the upside. Okay, so it's always known when it comes to an investor, you're on the monthly and the weekly charts and you're trying to buy 618s. Really, really, really good levels. And let's quickly have a look here quickly, just before, because you can use this simple tool as an investor, as a day trader. The only difference that you are looking at is the time frames. That's all that's the only difference that you are basically focusing on is the actual time frames. Okay, so like if we look at something like this, let's go through a couple of the charts over here. Okay, so let's use Super Farm as an example. So as an investor, you're now going to a weekly chart. Okay, and what you want to always look to buy and accumulate your token is when you're between these two levels, 0.618 and the 0.786. It's known as the golden pocket. If you can buy any investments where you've seen a coin previously pump and back into these levels over here, this is always the healthiest stage to be entering that, specifically, especially if it's remaining bullish. So golden zone. So right now, you can see that a lot of tokens are still sitting in that golden zone pocket. A lot of them are still sitting at the zone. Some of them are sitting at the lower range of the pocket, like a phantom. And I also want to remind you this as well. Guys, we've been through pain, right? And to be honest, I don't think anything gets worse in this market than what we saw a year or two back. When we had the FTX collapse, and we had Binance nearly getting taken down, and we had Celsius collapse, and we had the Luna collapse. Guys, we had so much going on at that time where the market was pushed, well, the crypto place itself was put under so much pressure that's never seen before. That was when we saw all of these major lows. Right, so that's like the worst it gets. Like that was really bad to the point of where we nearly lost Binance. Right, that was a big one. Okay, was going to be parabolic. Let's see it today. Let's see. But what I want to get to here, I want to remind you again that right now we are not anywhere as bad in a place of what we were 2 years ago. That's why we had Bitcoin below 20K. That's why we had those sort of things. So now taking that into context, you got to understand that if you're buying anything right now, let's place worst scenario. And worst scenario was 2 years ago, right? Worst scenario was when we had the hardest point ever. And you look at that on a risk to reward tool. You just take this little tool over here on the left. Over here, guys, smash a like if you like the education. I'm always going to teach you guys some basic ways just to remind yourself where we're at. Okay, and you look at the risk to reward tool. Where's my risk to reward tool? Let's see it. There we go. It's called a long position tool. Okay, and you plug this in, you put it in anywhere, and what it basically shows you is the red is your risk, and the green and the bluish here is your reward. Okay, and as a simple investor, as a trader, you always want to just get something or buy something that the reward is worth more than the risk, okay? Because what that will do is if you go into a short-term loss, you're not going to be worried about it because you bought it at the point of, you know that there's a bit of risk that's in play, but you know your reward's a lot bigger. It gives you way more patience, okay? Only Trump can pump. It sounds a little bit, okay. Okay, so now we know that. Let's take a coin like Phantom. Let's go worst case scenario. Let's go back to when crypto was at its worst it's ever been before. That's a 55% drop from here. That's the worst. Now let's go look at the best. Okay, the best scenario. Okay, and the best scenario, not even the best, a good scenario. A good scenario is Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs, altcoins start catching, and then altcoins start their little bit of the leg. And they get halfway of where they were the last cycle. Just an example. Look at this. Look how much reward there is for you now than risk. And that's on worst case scenario for where this token is right now. Okay, and let's talk about best case scenario. We go to all-time highs. We break all-time highs. Look at that. So I just want to remind you again to zoom out and look at the bigger picture that yes, there is short-term downside. But on the overall side, your risk to reward is on a whole nother level. It's a no-brainer to be in the market. It's a no-brainer to have tokens at these ranges. It's a no-brainer when you understand the risk to reward and you go through all of them and you understand that Phantom, look at this, guys. Look what happens when it wakes up. Now, the same thing, if you look at the Phantom chart, where's Phantom? Phantom's in these ranges over here, right? Do you know that at some point the Solana chart looked the same? Where the worst case scenario was the FTX, right? Sort of thing of Sol. And at some point, you could have been in an 80% drawdown. But you look at the good scenario of even just getting back and look at that and look at those who fished in those areas. And that's why when you're seeing good projects, Phantom's coming out with new technology, guys, fast technology. They had to fix something. It's a good project. And you look at the difference between this chart and that chart, it's a no-brainer, right? And you go look at things like Thorchain. That's a no-brainer, right? And you could see where we are at with a lot of these tokens that are really good tokens, that the risk to reward right now is just so much bigger. The reward is so much bigger to stay in the game right now versus the actual risk of how much more money are you going to lose. Everything right now is temporary loss. In the bigger picture, it is beautiful entries. It is you actually being able to make the money and actually make your way to the upside. Okay, so now we know that. So let's go back over here and let's quickly go back. So I know how to go in, out, in, out. Let's quickly zoom in again over here. So guys, the market's ready for a bounce. The RSIs are at the bottom. There's two big bounce zones. If they're going to kill us, they're going to kill us over this weekend. What I mean by kill us, they're going to go back down to 50K. I think if that happens, it will be a little bit hard. So again, it just means put stop losses on any important money on your capital if that happens. But I think it will actually be good for the market if it does. If we are not ready to pump right now, fine. Go down there, get liquidity and pump. Because the last time we went down there, you actually pumped and gave us a 50% pump. We're happy with that then. Let's go for it. Prepare for it. We've got our arm on. We're ready to go. Okay, so if that's meant to be, the move will happen fast because it's ready now. The RSIs are reset. That means the fast move will happen now. Okay, if we don't lose this, and what you can do here is you can zoom in slightly. I just want to show you this over here. And you can actually pop in this trend line over here. And there's also another trend line too. You can just pop in a couple of trends. Okay. If we don't get killed today or over this weekend, and we actually start breaking these trends, I won't be surprised that next week we're above 60K again. And who knows from then? Because if we go back from 60K, we go back to the upside, and we actually break the 60. Remember, what we're fighting for here is the first higher low. If we break 60K, we can actually get our first higher high. And where is our first higher high? That's above 65K. Guys, that's nearly 70K again. And again, how long is this wall at the top going to last? Yes, it's done well this year. Congratulations to the 70K wall. But how long are you going to last, buddy? One day we're going to break you. And when we break you, we ain't coming back for a long time. We're going to Valhalla. We are going to rock it. And the market, again, will go into the big phases of the optimism and the strength. And that's where it's going to go. Right now, again, we are in hope. We are 100% in hope. And hope is before parabolic. If we look at where we've already seen all of this, guys, we've seen depression in crypto. We've seen the disbelief. We've seen the anger. We've seen the capitulation. That actually all happened 2 years ago. We've already been through that part. Right now, we are hoping that the market is at that's it. But after hope is the parabolic stage. So yes, you may be winning now, that's 72, 73. But the day we get through you, the day we start moving, yes, we start shifting into gearbox. We start going into third gear. Right now, we're in second gear. We go third gear, we go fourth gear, we go fifth gear, we go sixth gear. And you know what? We shift fast. You know, like those races? Not slow. We go. And all of a sudden, your car start picking up speed at a very, very, very fast pace. Okay? So that's a very big thing to understand. So as it stands right now, this is my plays for the weekend. There's two major bounce zones. I'm still 60% sure that we're going to bounce. Okay? What would be really nice, what we want to see by the end of the week is if we can be above $58,000 to $59,000 by the end of this week, we've got a really good chance of having a great week next week. So let's see. And what should happen is maybe Sunday we start crunching up into the actual weekly close. We'll see how that goes. Now, I can't go out till Monday. Of course you can. Today's the day, actually. Today you do something. Today you buy, you put a stop loss, you get prepared. If you see the big dump off, then you go relax. You don't do anything now. If you see the big dump off happen, then you got something to do. Guys, I don't want you to sit and stare, like, go touch some grass. Go get yourself out the house. Go chill with the family this weekend. Just put your damn alarms in. Stop tiring yourself out and thinking that you have to stare at it right now. We now know it's 55 or it's 50 for the weekend. That's it, okay? And that's the thing. So you're taking that information. You're doing something now. You're putting in a stop or two for important money. and you're putting an alarm in. And if you see the market drops off, then you do something. Other than that, go look after yourself. Go have a just relax, man. Go chill out. Yeah, so you don't have to stare at nothing this weekend. It's quite obvious, what we need to basically see. Let's quickly go through a couple of other things. Altcoins are ready to bounce. Alts are actually very close to trend breaks. So altcoins, if you see us bounce here and we start breaking trends, altcoins, there's some good entries. Ethereum, good entry. Solana, good entry. Phantom, great entry on Phantom. THORChain, getting to a good entry. And actually, I would like this one a little bit low. So THORChain, I'd wait slightly. I would either catch it there or wait for a nicer trend break. But nonetheless, if you see any of these that are sitting, Pendle, great entry. Optimism, great entry. Arweave, great entry. And stop loss under the previous lows. And that's it. Buy something here. Because at least if it takes off from here, you can add a little bit later. If it comes down, you have a little bit of money to buy a bit more. But guys, again, we're going to run out of this time. And you know what? Enough of me talking. Let's bring this guy on. The guy that's got a phenomenal indicator. Okay, let's bring this guy. Wait, just before I bring him on, I do want to quickly toot my horn here. Okay, so I have the best school in the world. I have the best school in the world when it comes to crypto. And I want to remind you again that we are starting our next cohort. So I want to show you this. Where's our video, Matt? I'll show you quickly of the video. Just under the intro, let's see here quickly, because I want to remind you again, I'm taking in people for school. I'm taking people for school. Now, what do I do with my long-term portfolio? I'm dollar costing at any available dollars that I have when the weekly stochastic RSI is at the bottom. The next one is I have a salary business. Me and Mama Sniper have this. Why? Because we have multiple businesses. So what we like to do is we like to try trade as many salaries for the business as possible. If I can take away expenses from my business, but instead of paying all of my staff out of my pocket every month or out of my inflow of cash, and I can do it from trading, fantastic. Then what I have is a house business. Me and the wife are looking at the market right now. Okay, we're looking at the market right now. We want to start investing. Okay, we want to start looking at these sort of things. Now, I don't want to pay $1 million to $2 million for a house, guys. I want to pay $50,000. Okay, now it's a 1 to 2 year plan. Okay, we've been doing this for a while now. Okay, we've been building this for a while. Mama Sniper's been doing this. She's looking for a house too. And she's been doing this for multiple months at the moment. Okay, but right now, I have a $50,000 account that trades 3x margins. Okay, I have a 4-step method for it. I'll explain that now in a second. And guys, what you're basically seeing there is through school, I teach you purpose of money. I teach you the power of understanding that you need to start preparing what you're going to do with your money. If you're not sitting here today and you knowing that you're buying Solana because you want to pay off your debt with this position, and with this other amount, you want to go on holiday. That's why you're buying these tokens at the end of the year. You want to buy Christmas presents, or you want to pay off a loan, or you want to do something. If you are not taking this information that I'm giving you every day and the money that you are putting in, and you are not understanding why you are putting that money in, you're never going to achieve what you're actually going to make money, and you're going to probably hold on to it because you don't know what you're actually doing it for. It's all about the planning and purpose behind your money. So I want to remind you again, guys, come and join my school for no one that has done Sniper School yet. You will not regret it. Okay, this is the school. We have 18 days left. 18 days left till the next cohort. Go sign up now, get in nice, and it is for free for you guys. It is for free. Okay, it is a mindset, but you will learn all the technicals, all the systems, and the live events you are going to love. Look at all the sessions that you have here, guys. The school is sexy. The school is amazing. It is there for you guys. So again, go straight below the video over here and go here to the sign up to Sniper School today. That's where you're going to put your information in. Go put that in over there. Put your email in. It will send you through the things. It is free for you guys. Come and join my school, guys. I teach you the power of actually understanding what you are doing. I promise you, it's going to change everything for you. It's going to actually give you an exit plan. It's going to know what you're doing. So, guys, anyone that's still struggling with the chart stuff, the school is there for you guys. Okay, let's bring on Seth the man, and let's get going through the pivots. Let's go see. What are you seeing there, brother? What's easy algo seeing there? What's up?
Happy Friday. Happy Fridays to everyone. Cool.
Where's a drink? Can I have a drink? Where's a drink? It's Friday. Seth, it's Friday. We deserve a drink. You know what? And I know it's halfway in the day. But you know what? This mug's been tough, bro. We need a drink. We need a drink. You talk. I'm going to get us a drink.
Cool.
Let's go. What are you seeing, bro?
Can you see my screen over here?
There we go. We can see it.
Sweet. Okay, cool, guys. So let's check out the scanner. This is our scanner that scans the market, gives us an idea of exactly what is going on. As we know, the market is super bearish, but now we can zoom in exactly and see what is going on within all the altcoins. You can see on the monthly we're on 9%, which means only 9% of the coins are above the monthly pivots. This is showing that for the long-term sentiment, we are super bearish. And I want to start seeing more tokens reclaim these monthly pivots for us to.
Just to add this, Seth, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like everything is showing bearish, which we now know. Remember, when that thing is at its lowest percentage, I've been going through Easy Algo quite a bit. It's actually the best time to look at buys, because when that thing is green, you're kind of late because everything's already broken pivots. Everything's already. So what the pivots are meaning, guys, is when it's gonna move, when it's gonna get going. Does not mean that it's not at a good price to be buying. It means that it's when these pivots break is when the coin's going to accelerate, when it's going to start moving again. So when you're seeing that only 9% are actually breaking this yet, still shows you the opportunity of those that are still at mega deals, and you're buying them before they start to go parabolic. Sorry, just to add in there.
No, thank you. That's fantastic. Yeah, exactly, guys. When these are super low, it just means they're super bearish. It means you're going to get great prices. It means you're going to catch them at these low levels, which is the highest chance of reversals, actually. So you can see on the weekly as well, we're 7%. So the weekly and monthly is showing us that most of the tokens are under the pivots for this week and month. And once it starts reclaiming those, then the market will start picking up. But obviously, our best reversals are going to be now, as Sheldon was talking about. But let's jump here. So you can see over here, we do have a few tokens that are above the monthly and the weekly. For those guys who prefer scalping, there's different forms of trading. If you're a scalper, if you're an investor, if you are a scalper, he has some great coins to look for. 1000 sats, BSV. These tokens here are all above the monthly pivots, which is showing that these are in more of a bullish sentiment. So if you are a scalper, these are fantastic coins to actually look at the moment. Let's check out Bitcoin, see how Bitcoin's doing. So Bitcoin. You can see over here, if we look at these pivots, guys, can you see these yellow lines are the pivots? And they give us a lot of information about what's happening in the market. They tell us if the market's going to be trending. They tell us if the market is going to be ranging, if it's bearish, if it's bullish. You can see in this example here, the pivots are super narrow. When they're super narrow, it's letting you know that the market is going to take off and go into a trending phase. You can see Bitcoin gets onto this grid and then it takes off. It just shoots off of there. And the next week, because each one of these grids represents a whole week's worth of data. Then the next week comes, you can see price breaks under the grid. We have a bearish week. This week, price is under the grid. We have a bearish week. We are also at the moment underneath the monthly pivot over here. You can see this red line is the monthly pivot. So if price gets above this monthly pivot, it'll let us know that Bitcoin is getting more into a bullish sentiment on the long term. And this is a fantastic place where you can start catching those trend movements. But if you're looking for reversals, the best places to be entering is at the low of the range. So can you see this blue line over here? Our indicator basically marks out the low and high of the ranges. So when price gets to the low of the weekly range, is a fantastic place to start looking for entries or dollar cost averaging if you're doing your investment trades. If you are looking to continuation trade, you wait for price to get on top of this monthly pivot, then it's letting us know we're going into a bullish sentiment. And this is where we can start looking for these bullish scalp trades. It all depends what kind of a trader you are. The dominance at the moment, you can see it's broken this massive trend line to the downside. And at the moment, it's underneath the weekly pivot, which is showing us that it's losing strength. It's coming. If it breaks below the monthly pivot, this zone over here, guys, this is where we're going to see rockets happen, because this is a major zone. So I just want to see if it breaks here, we're going to definitely see some kind of movement. So it's definitely building up. And this is where you want to be more aware and more alert than ever before. I know the market is boring and choppy and there's a lot of fear, but this is where you want to be sharpening your knife, getting your skills, more refined. If we go to the total 3 market cap, you can see the same story here. Prices on the weekly pivot, we get this explosive move up. It's underneath the pivot, it drops. So right now on the total 3 market cap, we're in a wide pivot range. And when we've got a wide pivot, it means we're in a bit more of a ranging market and there's not that much movement. But what happens is when we have a wide pivot this week, it means next week we have a narrow pivot. So next week we could possibly, and I believe there's going to be a bit more movement in the market, because this is how, the rhythm of the market is. We go through these wide pivots, then we go into these narrow pivots and we see good movements. Right now it is about to break this trend line. Sheldon did mention that. So it's a good place to look for possible entries now at the low of this range. So we could see some movement this weekend as well. If you guys want some trades, I've got 3 trades for you that I'm looking at the moment. We've got GME, which is fantastic, guys. Look at this. Look how narrow this pivot is, guys. It's like one line. If you see a pivot that's just one line, it lets you know there's a lot of volatility in this asset. Right now, you can see it's inside the monthly, the red lines, and it's got a super narrow weekly. So I believe this coin is going to make some big moves. We just don't know what direction right now because it's inside the monthly pivot and it's in a no trade zone. So I'm waiting to see, is it going to break above the monthly pivot? Is it going to break below the monthly pivot? If it breaks above, I'm going to look too long. If it breaks below, I'm going to look too short. So right now, it could go either way. You can see, look at the weekly pivot. It's right in the center of the monthly pivot. And you've seen already, we got big moves already from this token this week. It's already done, 20% up, 20% down, 18% up, 18% down. So you can see the volatility is super high, but pay attention to this token. I really believe it's going to make a big movement and I've got my eyes on it. Another one you can look at is RDNT. It's looking fantastic. We've also got a super narrow weekly pivot. Guys, every week I look for the super narrow pivots, and these are the ones that I focus on trading because these are the ones you're going to get these explosive movements. I see it every single week over and over again. So this is why I'm bringing these ones to your attention. RDNT made a massive move already, and it's coming down to the golden pocket zone, which just so happens to also be the top of the monthly pivot. And it's a nice support zone over here. So I'll wait for the
you have a trend line. Great.
And I've got your trend. Dude, I'm using trend lines all the time because of you.
It's amazing. It's cool how they work together. That's what I love about it.
Oh, wow. It's such a good confidence to add. So I would want to see, guys, if price gets to this level, I want to see this trend line break, and we could possibly see a nice movement off here, maybe 5 or 10 or 20%. I don't know, but you can definitely get a good trade off of this. And then we've got FIRE, which has also been a fantastic trade. This week, you can see we got a super narrow pivot as well. When we get these super narrow pivots, guys, these pivots do not lie. I'm telling you, every time you get these pivots that are this narrow, we get big movements. And then you can see we've got, this is the weekly pivot, the yellow. Then we've got the light blue, which is the daily pivot. So you can see every time price got onto the daily pivot was a move. If you're a scalper, guys, if you like scalping, the daily pivots are for you to scalp. The weekly pivots are for you to do your mini swing trades. If you were a scalper every day this week, you would have got a trade with FIRE. You can see it gets on the daily pivot. We get a nice move up to the top of range. You exit for the day. Get on top of the pivot, exit for the day. Every single day we got a nice trade except for yesterday. But today it's looking fantastic, guys. Look how tight this pivot is. When you've got a tight weekly pivot and you've got a tight daily pivot, that is where you're going to see some kind of movement. So for this token, I'm looking either at the low of the daily range. It's already been there. The best entry is already passed, actually. It's over here. But sometimes it can come back to this area. Otherwise, on top of the pivot right now, it's in a very good buy zone. And this could shoot because look how tight this pivot is looking, guys. So pay attention to this one. Also, look here. You can see the previous day. Look how wide this grid was and look how narrow it is here. So these pivots kind of show you when a squeeze is going to happen in the market, and it shows you the exact pivots you want to see when big moves are going to happen. I'm pretty sure this is going to break out of here a little bit later today. But yeah,
fantastic.
If you guys are interested, we offer a 3-day free trial. If you want to test out the pivots, learn more about these pivots. Guys, these pivots, it's a 100-year-old trading methodology. We didn't just make this stuff up recently. This is the original form of trading that the traders used to trade back in the day before they even had computers. They traded pivots. So try it out. Come join us. 3 days, test out our software, test out everything, and you can see how this could add an excellent confidence to your trading.
Thank you, my bro. Have a fantastic weekend.
Yeah,
Let's drink lots of beer and may the Springboks win. Much love, bro. Much love. Cool, guys. So again, links are in the description if you want to get some easy algo free access for the 3-day trial. I want to show you guys this as well. So the 1 hour is very close to breaking on the altcoins, guys. So what I've noticed now is I don't know yet. We've got to wait. I think when the volatility comes in, when the news comes out, there might be a quick spike down. But I think we're gonna inject, guys. What I like about this, to look at Bitcoin dominance, it's been coming down and it's about to lose a low, and this is on a Bitcoin bounce. So it just shows you again, indicates again with that the altcoins will bounce pretty hard. So the signs you're looking for again, okay, is the main breaks. Let's quickly go through the trends here again. The main breaks for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will officially start going up once it breaks above 57,000. 57,000, we start breaking up. In that time, what you will have is altcoins. If altcoins breaks this orange trend, guys, that small one I showed you now is the early one, breaks the orange one. Again, I'm looking at least a 20 to 25% pump within altcoins. And then we will see where we're at. So again, you want to get that little barrier from the rest of the markets, get in 20-30% lower than the rest of the market. And you don't have to rush everything in now. You have some trend lines that you could use to buy the confirmations. Guys, I want to wish you a fantastic weekend. I want you to go and rest. I want you to put your alarms in and relax and come back on Monday fired up. Remember, day by day, you show up, I show up. You show up, I show up, and we get through it. And I'll see you again at the top. But just have a good time this weekend. Go look at what you love in life. Go touch grass, have a good time, and I'll see you guys all on Monday. So guys, have a fantastic day. Love you lots. Much love.